Hello, my beautiful Capricorns. How are you, my gorgeous ones? This is going to be your October 2018 monthly video. So, you might find that the video is going to lag a little bit. I'm having to use a different camera, a different system. I'm on travel, so just bear with me. My hands and my mouth may not be looking like what I'm saying. We're going to try to make this work. All right, so let's talk about October. We're already in the middle of October. So let's talk about what's going to be going on from the 13th is today up until the 31st. So let's look. So what happened in the beginning of the month is Pluto went direct and Venus then went retrograde. So Pluto is in your house, in your first house. So this is Sun, Moon, Rising, or Ascending. And so Pluto, here's Pluto right here. He went direct. So now we have Mars direct. We have Mars going forward. We have Pluto going forward. We have Saturn. We have Jupiter. We have Mercury and the Sun and the Moon, of course, right? And then we have Venus, which has gone retrograde. So Pluto, even though it's an outer, well, I wouldn't say outer, but even though it's one of the underlying sort of soul's passage, soul's involvement and legacy about what you're doing here, right, in this world. And I'm going to do a Pluto series. So it had been retrograde since April. It's now turned direct. And so what Pluto's been teaching you since 2008 is your self-identity. Remember, Pluto's about power and control and transformation, right? It is the 8th house, which is Scorpio. So it's death and life, right? Transformation. Let go of the old, understanding the new. There's a lot of power and control and understanding your own power and all of that. So it had been retrograde and now it's gone direct. And by 2008, you were probably trying, that's when you first wanted to try to discover who you are, what you're about, right? And you've been on this quest to try to understand this since 2008. Now, because oftentimes, Capricorn, what you'll do is you'll do what you think other people want you to do and be for society, right? That's not everybody, but that's sort of what's been going on with this Pluto thing. So in 2008, you begin to try to look at yourself, like you were looking at yourself for the first time. And so by this year, through this transformation of understanding you and what that was and what that is, and then actually evolving yourself some, by 2018, well, let me say this. Pluto is here to teach you that you are valuable. Pluto is here to teach you that you matter. Pluto is here to teach you that you, Pluto is here to teach you to trust you, right? And to understand that you are all that you need. And from that point, when you evolve to that point, or when you begin to understand those parts of you, you will begin to have relationships where you are wanting that person in your life, whether it's love, family, friends, co-workers, whatever this is the transformation that you're sort of going through, of trusting yourself, of identifying with yourself, of understanding that you are all that you need. And then you have these relationships. When you understand that, you begin to have these relationships where you are actually wanting the person there, and not that the person's going to need you there, and not that you're going to need the person there. Does that make sense? So you have this big transformation going on. It is not going to finish up till 2023. Of course, some of you can do it in 2022, but in 2022, there are just some finalizing things that you'll need to understand about yourself. And again, I'm going to do that Pluto series. And so by 2019 is when you finally, so this year is about you, let me look, is about you actually becoming more evolved with who you are. Like, you've sort of understood more of who you are by this year, and you sort of have been in it. like being in it, doing it, being you, and being more comfortable with you, right? 2019 is coming, and that's where you're going to evolve to the point of that thing, that dream, that thing that won't go away. That's actually going to come forth in 2019, begin to come forth. You won't finish it till 2023, but begin to come forth. So that's all I'll say about Pluto. That's what's going on now. You have Saturn in there really making you work, really having delays, really helping you understand what those hopes and dreams are. The issue was you needed to know what you really wanted, because again, you like to go off of what you think others find. How do I say this? You like to go off of, well, I'm this person because that's what society expects. That's the way you do things. That's tradition. That's the way my parents understood, my friends, my lover, my wife, my husband, like that. And so for the first time in like 2008 is when you begin this journey of really looking at yourself for the first time, right? And then evolving into that, right? So 2018 has been about actually knowing more of who you are and really being in that. Okay, so with Saturn here, he's caused delays. You're used to Saturn. Saturn is your ruling planet, so you're used to Saturn. So now that Saturn and Pluto are direct, and then they're going to be coming closer together, Saturn is going to give you some things, and Pluto is going to help transform you into some things. So that's what I'll say about Pluto. Then we moved into Venus going retrograde. I'm going to do the Venus retrograde series. And so Venus going into retrograde is, if you look here, hold on a second. Venus is in your house of groups and house of networking. And so maybe you're having to revise or amend or edit some things going on with that, with relationships, with money, with your finances, with groups, with understanding who's going to be here, who's not going to be here. Maybe there were some influential people that you're going to meet, or maybe you've met them before. Maybe they came around, and then they're going to begin to come around again, where you're going to have these opportunities happening, so that they can help you with your career. Does that make sense? So that's going to be going on until December. I'm going to do the Venus series, so you guys get the dates and understand what's going on. So that's what's been happening the first 2 weeks, right? Of course, we've had these squares, and we've had some trines, and we've had some squares, we've had trines, we had the new moon, and so that had been going on. And now today on the 13th, this is October 24th, sorry. So on the 13th, from the 13th through the 17th, if you look, the 13th through the 17th, Saturn, which is in your first house, is trining Uranus, which is in this house of creativity, this house of love affairs. And so there's this shift going on about who you are, what you want, the people that you have around you, and the thing that you are trying to create, right? And so, there could be this opportunity. Again, I feel like it could be an influential person comes back in your life, or maybe somebody who is from your past comes and introduces you into a group, or introduces you to this person. And so whatever this is, it's going to be very beneficial for you. And this is all to help you with what you're trying to create in your life and it could be that person comes in through work or through this group, and then becomes a love affair. That can also happen as well. So that's going to be going on from the 13th through the 17th. And the other thing is that it's trining. So Saturn's going to be trining Uranus, but Uranus is squaring your north node. And so there's something here, because this is about other people's resources. This is about grants, loans, banks. It could even be inheritances of some sort, or it could be the influential person comes and helps you with this thing that you're trying to create, maybe in your business, maybe in your position, maybe in this company, right? So this square right here is this tension. So look for that this next week, from the 13th through the 17th, like today. through next week. But there's something that's going to be shifted here. There's something that's going to be changed here. So then we have this Venus retrograde squaring Mars. Okay, so this is the money that you earn. This is the Mars is in Aquarius, and the money that you earn. There's some tension here. There's a square here going on from the 14th. Yeah, so that's on the 14th. That's tomorrow. So tomorrow, sorry. Tomorrow, this is when Mars squares Venus. And so there's going to be some tension. There's going to be some, and remember, Mars likes to like do things and then think about it later. And so this has to do with your value or something valuable that you have or want to attain or money that you earn, right? And having to do with these groups or this networking or something that has to do with your career or your reputation, right? And so with this tension here, be careful because you can sort of, with Mars wanting to do things really fast and Venus wanting to take it a little slower, you may find you just have to watch out with what's going on because there is this tension here going on. Okay, and so that's going to be happening on the 14th. Now on the 16th through the 18th, 16th through the 18th, Mars is going to square Mercury, right? Mars is going to square Mercury, and then Mercury's on the 17th or 18th. Yeah. So the 16th, Mars is going to square Mercury. So there is a message coming through. This is when you really need to be careful with your words, with your actions. Think about what you're going to do in this situation, having to do with groups or people around you or influential people, or having to do with your reputation. It could even have to do with the internet because that's this house. And so Mars can sort of get you to, say something quicker than you want to say it, or maybe, say something and offend somebody. That's when Mercury and Mars get together. There can be some tension with this. So there can be like somebody offends you or you offend someone. So just be careful with anything having to do with groups or your work or your reputation, right? So on the 17th and 18th is when Mercury is going to trine Neptune. So it's squaring Mars, but it's trining Neptune, right? And so you may immediately, somebody may offend you, but because Neptune is there, you can get a gift if you take a deep breath, think about the bigger picture, maybe step into somebody else's shoes for a minute and say, okay, maybe they're just having a bad day. This is not the way normal. This is not normal for them because everybody's going to be feeling this energy. And so with that could come an opportunity. With you actually stepping back or maybe understanding their point or maybe just listening to them vent or something like that, having to do with Neptune, really seeing the bigger picture, really melding with someone, really understanding, taking the higher perspective of something would bring in an opportunity for you. So just look for that between the 16th and the 18th, because you guys know time doesn't stop. Energy doesn't stop or start, it flows. So it could be like the 16th through the 19th. If that sort of comes up, just be very careful with that. And then on the 24th, we have this full moon in Taurus. So this full moon, again, is going to be, and it's right near this Uranus. So something is going to shift for you guys having to do with this thing you're trying to create, having to do with, it could have to do with your children if you have children. It could have to do with love affairs that you have or are going to have. Something is going to shift here, and the moon is here. And so with the full moon, there is something that you're going to be letting go of in this area, or you're going to be getting some clarity to see what you didn't see before so that you can let go of what no longer serves you, so that this thing can move, so that you can move in the right direction. So again, I'll have a full moon video. I always have my new moon and full moon videos. So I'll have a full moon video where I explain the energy of Taurus, and then I explain how that can affect you in this house. Okay, so that's on the 24th. And then on the 29th and 30th, 29th, through 30th, and I apologize about the dogs again. I'm on travel. So, so on the 29th and 30th, we have this grand trine. Um, Sorry, we have this grand trine, grand water trine. So you guys know that grand trines are a divinely guided gift. Now this has to do with this is a water trine. So this is a divinely guided gift being brought to you to emotionally fulfill you in some way, right? And so with this having to do with this north node that I talked about, it's going to be Chiron. So if there's something old, maybe this old wound comes back up, maybe you get an opportunity to, and this grand trine is with Mercury and Jupiter. So, and this has to do with the groups and something old and then where you're moving towards in this north node. So there's this opportunity to be emotionally fulfilled here, right? And I feel like for you Capricorns, you naturally know how to give everything off of like everything that you have. And so since 2008, you were learning how to take a little bit. You were learning how to see yourself first, your worthiness, your value. And I feel like in this time, you're understanding how to balance that. Like, yes, I give some, but I also value myself too. And yes, I value those around me, but I value myself too. And I feel like this grand trine having to do with Chiron and Jupiter and Mercury and your north node, this is like this path stuff, this your path stuff. So like this things that you came to evolve and understand and grow from, that you're valuable and other people around you are valuable, but you have to balance that. And I feel like that's where this opportunity comes in to fulfill that for you. So that'll be happening on the 29th or 30th. So that'll finish up the Halloween month, which is my favorite month. By the way, nobody entered any stories, so I didn't get to do that. But that's okay because I got busy. So I'm going to pull a couple of cards. I'm going to do old school, pull a couple of cards. And then I'm going to, as soon as I finish all these, I'll be finishing all the rest of the videos up today. And then as soon as I finish all these, I'll get into November's. And we've got a lot of new stuff coming for November. So I'll start on November. So we'll be getting those, I'll be getting those out at the beginning of the week or probably this weekend. So let's talk about what's coming to end the rest of October. If you guys haven't done the pick a cards, that's where I talked about the new moon and what's coming in the next couple of weeks. But this is your monthly, so let's pull a couple of cards here with Capricorn. Let's see what's grounding you, where you're at. Okay. So again, I apologize for the lag. So where you're at. So you have the Seven of Wands. Shall I show this card to you? So the Seven of Wands is really feeling like you got to fight for what you deserve, got to fight for what's yours, have to stand your ground in something, have to say what you need to say. And I feel like that's your energy. I feel like that's what's needed for right now. And that's going to sort of end out October. I think some things are going to become very clear for you. And I feel like I feel like a lot of you have already been doing this, but you know how the pendulum swings? Like when you first learn to do something, you're like doing all of that because you hadn't done that in ever. And so I kind of feel like the pendulum is kind of balancing. It's like, I know what I need to fight for. I'm not going to let anybody take over my boundaries, and this is what I'm going to be doing. So this could be in your work. I feel like a lot of it is in your work. Yeah, I feel a lot of work. Like your careers, your businesses. Some of them is your family, but I feel a lot of work. I do feel love relationships. I feel like this is old love relationship. I feel like this is like the endings, or I feel like maybe like some of you are divorced, but you still hang on or let them take advantage of you, and you're truly trying to stand, like you're really trying to put your groundwork in. You're really trying to say no, right? So I feel like that. And I feel like this is, these things are going to sort of be ending for you. You're really going to put your foot down with some things. So let's see what's, so from Spirit, you have the Knight of Swords. So this is an offer being brought to you because you've done this. I feel like this offer comes from nowhere. I feel like you guys have surprises. I feel like some of you have, so even though it could be a surprise, I still feel like some of you feel it because a lot of you are empathic. I don't think that you would call it that. You would be maybe more scientific about it, but whatever you call it, you can feel something's coming, right? And so that's what Spirit's sort of telling you, that with this Knight of Swords, some of you have a new person coming into your life. If it's a new person, it is a knight. This person, I feel like, can be your friend, but they can be whatever you want them to be. They're like there for you. And some of you, this person's either government. No, I feel a lot of military. Yeah, I feel a lot of military. I want to say either was military and is police now. Yeah, I don't know what that's for. They're being specific about that. Military was military, is police now. That's what I'm getting. But that's not for everybody. That's just a message for some. So that person's coming in towards the end, maybe even in 3 weeks, but this person comes from nowhere. Because right now you could be looking around and you'd be like, yeah, whatever, I can't see anything. There's nobody around. It'll happen. If it's supposed to happen, it'll happen. All right. And so what's going to be happening by the end? So the completion is the Seven of Cups. I feel like you standing your ground. I feel like you getting this offer. I feel like either you get this offer or this person comes in to be what you're wanting and needing. And this gives you confidence. And it also shows you that you have this ability, these opportunities. And so I feel like by the end of the month, you will begin to see more opportunities happen because you guys have worked so hard with this Pluto and this Saturn in your house. I feel like things are actually coming to you. And I do feel like some of you think, well, this is the only, I don't know why I'm getting this, but I'm feeling like this is the only level I can get to because there's no more level. But I feel like you have some surprises coming in to show you there's a next level. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. That's not for everybody. So, again, thank you so very much. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I will have all the other videos that I talk about, the full moon, the new moon stuff. And I will be bringing out another pick a card round. And I will also be doing the Novembers by this weekend. I love you, love you, love you. Bye.